Well, in this video is going to be presented the importance of socio-emotional learning in the Chilean context. First of all, it will be given the definition of socio-emotional learning through two main concepts of the approach. Then, all of these definitions are going to be connected for a better understanding of the Chilean education reality with an example of an observation of a vulnerable school. First of all, according to Marulanda, socio-emotional learning is an approach to help students engage in positive social interactions, responsible decisions, manage emotions, and solve problems, while also achieving academic success. In other words, socio-emotional learning is a perspective which says that through reflection and recognition of feelings and emotions, students can build better relationships among themselves in order to build positive learning environment. However, this is not exclusive for students. Instead, teachers have to learn about socio-emotional learning to apply it in their classrooms and build a positive learning environment. As it was said before, for a better understanding, it will be given two concepts about socio-emotional learning. The first one is mindfulness, that according to an opinion of a website, is the understanding of the functions of our brain through which we can differentiate and integrate our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. But there is not the only definition that exists. There are a lot of definitions. The other one is the act of being intensely aware of what you are sensing and feeling at every moment. In this presentation, the definition of mindfulness will be a combination between these two. Although mindfulness is something that everyone can practice, teachers have to have an important role in this field. To teach mindfulness, they have to practice mindfulness before teaching it. Because it's easier to approach to the students when they explain their own experiences with mindfulness. In this way, an applicable example is by the Dr. Amy Salzman, is the Still Quiet Place, which is an exercise of reflection in which students have to find a place in which they, in their head and in their heart, where they can feel safe and confident. In this exercise, help students to calm themselves, and then when they are feeling anxious and angry or sad. It also helps students to recognize their feelings and analyze them, and maybe understand that that feeling is not as terrible as they think. In addition, other important notion to apply socio-emotional learning is about the conflict resolution through peer meditation. In peer meditation, according to an international organization, a trained youth acts as neutral mediator, helping parties in conflict to understand the root causes of their dispute and to ultimately agree on a plan for resolving the conflict. This peer meditation is a way to solve problems based on the understanding of the beliefs and opinions of others. One way to practice peer meditation is to teach students how to respond to conflict. The steps are: first, teach them what is conflict, what is the meaning of conflict, then understand that they have their own feelings and it's correct to feel it. However, they have to understand that the other person have feelings too and have a different opinion too. And understand that the conflict conflict is a construct but different opinions. Social emotional learning has many benefits. In the first place, it helps students to develop their emotional intelligence and learn how to solve problems. It increases the academic achievement, which is related to self-esteem of a student, because when they receive a good marks, they feel confident and good about themselves. It fosters better relationships among students and with the teacher, which leads to a positive learning environment. And one of the most important benefits is about the self-regulation of students and the teacher, which is a key element in the classroom. Nevertheless, this approach is not present in the most of the cases, mostly in the country Chile. Now it will represent the reality of Chilean schools based on an observation of a vulnerable school. In general, in the school observed, there is a lack of social-emotional learning in both teacher and students. The methodology used by the teacher is based on pass the content, copy on the board, and wait for the students to write what she or he is saying. There is any interaction between teacher and students. Clearly, there is a lack of mindfulness in the classroom because teachers are not aware of their own feelings. And it has been noticed that most of the teachers are suffering burnout. They scream all the time, they look tired, and sometimes they show that they don't want to be there. Uh, from part of the students, it's kind of the same. They are not interested in classes, they do not participate, and also, according to peer meditation, they do know how to solve problems. The only way to them to solve problems is fighting or screaming or with violence. Teachers and the school community do not practice peer meditation too. It has been noticed that when they have disagreements, when they have conflicts, they do not have to solve them. They they prefer to do not talk to each other. Therefore, if they do not practice peer meditation, it's kind of impossible or difficult to apply it in the classroom. It is important to mention that this is a vulnerable school where students, in most of the cases, do not have someone or the support at home. Um they do not live with their parents, so they don't have someone to teach them how to behave in certain circumstances or how to manage their emotions, control themselves. Also, in this type of schools, the workload of the teachers, because it's a public school, the teachers have a lot of work and it's not related with classes. Instead, it's related with planning papers um, required by the school administration. They are not preparing or they don't have time to plan their classes, so they don't have time to apply this approach to their classes. Well, in this context, social emotional learning should be a tool to improve all of these flaws. Mindfulness can give them the experience of reflection and understand why are they doing that? Why are they sorry seeing that content? Uh, in the same way, it's an important tool for teachers because being a teacher is not easy. They have a lot of problems inside the classroom and inside their school. This way of understanding their feelings can be useful for teachers to help them realize why are they feeling that, analyze their emotions, and respond to them rather than react in a negative manner. Therefore, a way to improve these situations is by implementing this approach in the classroom, the social emotional learning. As a proposal, it can be appropriate to implement, in the first place, mindfulness and peer meditation workshops in each class, from pre-K to 8th grade. That is the maximum grade in the school. The head teacher of each class have to develop the workshop. The mindfulness workshop can be based on the example given before about the still quiet place, in which teachers can encourage an environment of reflection and students can understand what is reflection and make it useful for their lives. This workshop should be implemented in the first in teachers. They have to learn how to deal with mindfulness and learn some tips to apply it in class. The workshops for students can be done 3 days per week in the first 15 minutes of each class. In the same way, about the peer meditation workshops should be focused on students themselves. This should be done in the orientation class. I think that 4 sessions should be the minimum time to complete the objective, which is to teach students how to manage conflict and teach them how to build a good relationship with people. Um, in addition, sorry, um, in addition, it is important to include all members of a school community. This means that parents and people in charge of the the schools can prepare workshops for them to help students practice the social emotional learning. This proposal is necessary for the school observed because it has been noticed that there is a lack of social emotional learning. Most of the time the school is worried about the standardized test and they do not pay attention to the feelings and emotion of their community. It is necessary to give tools to teachers in order to develop these kind of practices. This intervention looks to improve their relationship among students because violence is part of their lives. But they have to learn that violence is not the answer to their problems. They have to learn that their problems have always a solution. Also, this looks for the increase of academic achievement, but more than marks, they have to understand how to learn. Thank you.